All right, we've got the new tires on the four-wheeler, starter on the Jeep. Now we're going to town to look for a trailer.
Last thing, remind me to hand you the starter. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Come on, Raven.
Come on, Skipper. Nope, this way. No, come on. Do not go in front of me. No.
Where's it going? Oh, yeah, that right there too. Come on, Skipper. Skipper. Come on. Let's go. Good boy. Okay. So do you want to come back with me or? So there's a couple trailers here in town that we're going to take a look at, and this is one of them here. I'll let you film real quick. Oh. This one may work. It's a little old. They're all going to be old and beat up, but this one may work. We're trying to convert it from rollers to bunks though, so we'll call him. There's no price. We'll call him, see how much it costs. So I was coming to Fred Meyer's to grab some groceries, and I ran into these guys right here, and they have done some. We started talking, and they started telling me their story, and I thought I'd sit down and chat with them a little bit. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
My name is Danik, and I'm from Mexico. I am Jan, and I am also from Mexico.
And so what brought you here to Juneau?
Well, a couple months back, like 5 months ago, we started a trip in Mexico to get to here to Alaska riding our bikes. And this was our final destination. Actually, we're leaving in 2 days, so this is how the trip ends.
And so what was your biggest hurdle, logistic-wise and maybe physical-wise, going from Mexico to here?
Well, I think maybe, well, the body, I think it always gets used to whatever you're doing. Like in the beginning, maybe it was a little bit hard to get used to riding all day, but like after a few days, you feel good with your legs, you feel good physically, I think. But maybe like mentally, it's the toughest part, like riding all day, like with your own thoughts all day long. And actually at the beginning, now we're only 3 that we arrived here, but at the beginning there were 6 of us. So slowly they started dropping, and it was also very hard to see the other guys leave.
Yeah.
That was, I think, the toughest part. Like seeing everyone leave, and like you have to continue, and it's hard.
So, would you attempt this on your own, or did you like the support of having others with you?
I think I would do it on my own, but I don't know if as long as this one. Maybe not 5 months. Yeah. Maybe like a month or something like that. But 5, I don't know. It might be hard to be on your own.
Yeah.
And especially this part, like there's not a lot of people like crossing all Canada and the Yukon and all of that part. There's not a lot of people, and there's not a lot of anything, you know. There's a lot of animals also, so they say that it's better to travel with someone else, so it's, yeah, less probable that they'll attack you.
Yeah. So you guys went up through Canada, and then did you go to Skagway or Haines?
Yeah, Skagway.
Yeah.
We took the ferry yesterday from
and
Skagway.
And then landed here in Juneau, and then that's it. The celebratory meal.
Yeah, outside the Fred Meyer's.
Outside of Fred Meyer's, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a dinner later. Yeah.
So did you just bring tents and stuff and just camp? You know, when you got tired, just.
Yeah, we wild camped the whole way.
Yeah. And how long would you ride per day, you think?
Well, it changed a lot in the trip. Like at the beginning, when we were 6, we were going really slow because I think like everyone wanted to do something else. So maybe we were doing like 40, 50 kilometers a day. And this last part, when we started 3, like we started doing more and more. So we were doing like around 80 or 90 kilometers a day.
Wow, so you guys were almost doubling your distance, yeah.
Yeah, because also there wasn't that much to do, you know, like it's mostly just forest and bush, so you can just keep going. Like in the States and in Vancouver and all that part, like there's a lot of cities and places that you can stop and buy groceries and like that, but like this part, there's nothing really. It's mostly nature.
So my biggest question was logistics. So did you have like certain destinations where you could get mail from some people, or was it just bring a credit card and just buy what you needed along the way?
Yeah, well actually I brought most of my money in cash, and we carry everything that we needed from the beginning till now. Like no one sent us anything from our home or anything like that. We were carrying the whole time. And we picked some cities, like we took 10 days in Vancouver to rest, and we also stayed in some other cities like LA. Like we would do some like 3 or 4 days to rest and then keep going.
So did you go up through, you just followed like the west coast all the way up?
We did, after LA we did for a little bit, because we actually entered through the desert in California. So we did like Joshua Tree and Mecca and all of that.
Oh nice.
The beginning was the desert, and then we did like the west coast, but Big Sur was actually closed because of the slides, so we had to cross it at night, like at midnight, so they couldn't see us.
So
that was crazy. Like we have to pull out our bikes like for 3 hours in dirt hills.
Wow, that is crazy. So what was some of the scariest things? Anything like you're like, whoa, that's besides the mudslides?
That was hard, and also, well, sometimes like at night, I think for me it's more scary people than animals. Like sometimes a few nights like people would like shoot flashlights at us, at our tents and all of that, and you're always nervous, like your bike is outside with all your stuff. So that was sometimes scary, like you would have to go out like didn't know what to expect, and that was scary. But I don't know, for you, what was scary?
Wait.
He had an accident in the bike. Yeah, it was also pretty scary.
Yeah, after the accident, I guess that was the scariest part. Just like, not only me, but someone else being in an accident. And just like that, being a constant, like, you know, like worry. Like all the time, like, oh, someone might get hurt, what would we do? But besides that, it was fun. And maybe this last part, the animals, at some point, you know, having to like hang the food, and trying to wild camp in places where we wouldn't see like bear poop or like broken branches, because we knew those were like signs of bears. But in general, yeah, I mean, you're like in survival mode, so fear is not really a big option. Maybe when we go back, we'll be like, oh, that was scary. But for for now, we're still in the survival mode, I guess.
Yeah.
And also maybe riding, like in some places the shoulder of the highway is so small and there's a lot of big trailers going by super fast. That sometimes was scary. Like they would go super near you.
Any human interactions that were scary?
Well, not really. He had one, like, but we weren't with him. Like, someone woke him up with a rifle in the morning.
Oh yeah.
You can tell that story.
Hold on, come sit down.
We're being interviewed.
Awesome.
So what's your name?
My name is Marco.
Marco?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us your experience with the rifle or the shotgun.
Well, it was actually my last day in the States. I was waiting for the ferry in Port Angeles, and I slept like next to the cycle lane. And like at 5 a.m. I was suddenly woken up by a guy like hitting my tent with his rifle and saying, "What the heck are you doing here in my property?" And I just didn't know I was in his property because it had no private property like things around it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just woke up, took all my stuff, and got the hell out of there. Because that's what he wanted me to do. Yeah.
So how did you get separated from these guys then?
Well, we were at Oregon, and like in the south of Oregon, we just took like a few weeks with a friend over there, and we noticed we were like running out of time, and their parents were visiting. So their parents came to pick them up, and I just wanted to continue on the bike.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just met them back in Vancouver again.
So that's pretty cool. So you're both of y'all's parents, or?
Yeah, we're brothers.
Oh, you're brothers. Okay.
Yeah, they came to visit, and also my girlfriend was arriving to Vancouver. And she already had her plane ticket, so we had like a deadline that we weren't gonna meet because we had to stop for 2 weeks with a friend in Oregon, and so we had to take a shortcut.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what'd your mom and dad think, and your girlfriend?
Well, they're really excited. They really like that we did this. My girlfriend not so much. Well, she is excited that I did it, but she's like, come back home.
Yeah, she didn't like the time apart.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, everyone is very excited back home. Like we have a lot of support from our friends and family back there.
That's awesome.
And yeah, everyone's like, you are super crazy, but it's awesome.
You're gonna come home and have a big banner like, congratulations, welcome home?
I'm not really sure. Like everyone is coming apart also. Like he's going back to Oregon, we're going to Mexico.
And to ride with one of our friends that left almost at the beginning of the trip. 3 weeks into the trip, he had to go back home to work. So he quit his job now, and he's flying to Oregon to meet me, and we're gonna ride south now.
So you're gonna come back and then go back down south?
I'm gonna fly on Tuesday to Portland, and from Portland we're gonna ride south. I'm not sure where to, but
you don't have a final destination
not
yet.
a final destination.
You just know you're going
LA
south again.
at one point.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that part that you were talking about, like we've met so many people in the trip, and the most thing that they tell us all the time is like, it's so good that you're doing it now, because a lot of people always wait to be older and they say like, no, I'm gonna work now, and when I'm older I'll have time to like have adventures and do stuff that I like. And I don't know, we think that the time to do it is now. Like right now we're young and we have the energy to do this type of stuff, and maybe later you won't have like the energy to do it, or the time. So just to say that if you want to do something, it's never like early or late to do it. You can do it whenever. Like so many people have told us like, oh no, I really wanted to do that when I was young and I never took the time to do it, and now I'm too old to do it.
Yeah. So what are the ages?
I'm 27.
27?
25.
25?
And also 25.
25.
Yeah.
So did your mom say, you can go, but you gotta bring your little brother with you?
Well, actually we have another brother that he was with us. He left in Vancouver, and he's the oldest one.
Oh, he's the oldest one.
Yeah,
okay.
and also his older brother was with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sounds like a family affair.
Yeah,
That's
kind
awesome.
of.
And so, what part of, because you went through all of pretty much the West Coast, is there one part of the West Coast you liked more than, what part of the West Coast did you like more, and what part of the West Coast did you like the least, you think?
I think like Big Sur was really cool, but we only get to see like a part of it during the day.
Which part?
Big Sur.
Oh yeah?
So like still at night was amazing, like the sky was crazy, but we couldn't see like a whole of it, but I think what we could see, it was very cool. And my least favorite part, I don't know, maybe LA. Like I've been to LA a lot, and I don't know, I think it's just like a big city, and maybe for the purpose of this trip, it wasn't like very cool because like it's just a big city, you know. Like it's not something like going on a bike on a dirt road and finding like a cool spot. Like it's only big buildings and a lot of homeless people.
Yeah, yeah. And so, what about between Canada and the U.S.? Was there any differences that you could think of that really stood out?
At the beginning we thought there were not going to be that many differences, but we started noticing that people were a little bit different in the way they like approach you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, but in the state where people were the most helpful, I think, was in California, and that was the thing that we were expecting the least.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but I think people maybe are not that outdoorsy, and they're just thinking that they have to help us because we're going a long way, going to Alaska.
And it was at the beginning
And it was
of the trip, Well, these poor kids.
Yeah, exactly.
But in Canada, they're all like really open and really friendly, and just like see it as a normal thing.
Yeah,
to be out
I
there.
think they're more used to seeing people doing this type of stuff, so maybe that's why. But in general, like everyone that we've met has been super nice to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Except for the guy with the rifle.
Yeah.
Only that guy.
Anything else that you want to talk about before we?
One thing that I really believe now is about the traveler karma, which is something that people started talking to us about. Like all the travelers were just starting to be nice with us, and they helped us with food, with water, with anything we needed. And they just said that it was like the traveler's karma that they gave to us because when they were once traveling, a lot of people were giving to them. So that's a really cool thing that I will continue living by it.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what's you said you don't have all of these videos up on YouTube yet, but you're going to upload them.
Yeah, we have 2 of them of the beginning of the trip, but now we'll do like a 10 episode series. And the name of the channel is in Spanish, but it is Zona de Inconfort. So it would be like discomfort zone in English.
Yeah.
That's the name.
I'll get you to write it down for me, and then I'll throw it down in the description. So if people want to go check it out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I always say, you know, do what makes you happy and live your best life. And these guys are definitely doing it. So thank you guys for taking the opportunity to chat with me.
Thank you.
Yeah. And remember, live free, guys. We'll see you next week.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.